and this is what I sent to Crystal the other morning, because snuck into this Wall Street Journal story is what I've been saying since the beginning. Joe Biden, if he becomes president, he will sign TPP while you're sleeping. He will sign it, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yeah, they'll change a sentence or two. Throw in some labor protections, environmental protections that, of course, will be watered down when it's passed. This is in the Wall Street Journal story. Hold on. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, this is what happens. I don't know where it is. I'll update it when we post this video after the fact. Holy shit, Jen.
What?
I think I've just unearthed something interesting.
What?
So, to the 370 people watching, you know how I was spending about 5 minutes trying to find the thing that I sent to Crystal that she gave me a shout out? That the advisor in this Wall Street Journal article had said, well, let me show you, because I found it on Sagar posted it on his Twitter, what I sent him. Hold on. So this is the part that I sent to Crystal from the Wall Street Journal article. The advisor also said Mr. Biden won't make a priority of entering new free trade agreements or reviving the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership that President Obama negotiated at the end of his term and that Mr. Trump pulled out of at the beginning of his. Mr. Biden won't consider, quote, entering new trade deals before the work is done at home to make investments in American job creation. So, Jen, how I read that is he won't consider entering new trade deals before the work is done at home to make investments in American job creation. That doesn't fucking mean anything. Basically what that means is, yeah, when the surface level numbers are good again, we'll get back to those free trade agreements, including the TPP. Right there. It says, won't make it a priority of entering trade deals like the TPP. He's not ruling it out, which, like I said during the campaign when he was pretending that as constituted he was not for the TPP, he's absolutely for the TPP. He was trying to push Hillary Clinton in 2016 not to abandon it and to stick with it. Well, isn't it interesting, Jen? This 2 paragraphs now gone from the story in the Wall Street Journal. I was trying to find it because I'm the one who spotted it and sent it to Crystal. It's been taken out of the story. So I'm going to say there's 2 options. 2 options here. Because, you know, websites, they call it stealth editing. So you'll publish a piece and then edit after the fact. Sometimes they change the headline. Sometimes they, you know, change a word here or there. But to literally remove 2 paragraphs, you know what my guess is, Jen? Rising has become pretty influential, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Crystal is very influential. I'd say it's, other than the Young Turks, one of the more influential platforms for progressives. All of a sudden, after Crystal and Sagar mentioned that the part about TPP in that Wall Street Journal article, it's not in the article anymore. So I'm going to take it from here. We know that Joe Biden's campaign has gotten the New York Times to edit damaging things out of their pieces. In the New York Times case, damaging things about his history making women uncomfortable. I don't have any proof, but what I do know is yesterday when this article came out, those 2 paragraphs were in there, as Sagar tweeted, and now they're not. And by the way, this very clearly, I said at the time, no corporate journalists are going to care about this because they're all out of touch and think the TPP is wonderful. But this right here is basically the signal. Yeah, it's not a priority, but once job creation's back to snuff, we'll get back into free trade deals like the TPP. And now it's gone. So you tell me, why would they take those 2 paragraphs out if not for seeing it mentioned on Rising and not want any spotlight on the fact that Joe Biden's actually totally for TPP? I will say this. Biden does have smart people around him. They're not the same idiots running Hillary Clinton's campaign. One of them is Obama staffer, Jennifer Dylan O'Malley is the campaign manager, and she was with Obama on his successful re-election. So my guess is they asked the editor to remove that. And that's significant. So I will send that to Rising. Hopefully they'll have me on as a guest to talk about it. I mean, it's not Watergate, but it is pretty significant that, like, why would you take just that part out of the story after this big show with almost 700,000 subscribers calls you out for really being for the TPP? It just shows Joe Biden, you want to call him Sleepy Joe? I call him Slippery Joe. Now.
Well, and it's not surprising that this has been edited out. We've seen this happen before. And it's the fact that the media tries to portray it, or the mainstream media tries to portray itself as objective and truth tellers, and they're totally, like, journalists have the highest ethics in the land. But when it really comes down to it, these mainstream journalists have incredibly cushy relationships with the top politicians and their aides. Jordan, that was that ridiculous article we read on the road trip where it was about Liz Smith, that's her name, right? Liz Smith, Buttigieg's chick.
I don't appreciate the terminology chick, but go on.
I'll say what I want. Buttigieg's, what was she, the campaign manager or the press person?
She was his communications,
person.
Yeah.
So the comms person. And she had such incredibly close relationships with so much of the media that basically she would be able to call them or write them or whatever. And the reason that Buttigieg did so well, I mean, as well as he did, and got such a spotlight, is because of her relationship with the media. So it's not like they're access journalists. They're not ethical. They're not objective. They are in the bag for whoever they've chosen to be in the bag for. So seeing this edited, which turns out to be in favor of, or like kind of hiding away something that the Joe Biden team doesn't want to be seen, is not a surprise at all. It's disgusting, and nobody else will probably even talk about it or take the time to notice it, or if they do, they'll just say, oh, it's just for the common good. Like, we have to get Joe Biden elected, so it's all for the common good. These media people have just become extra campaign arms. It's horrifying and disgusting, and it really makes me so mad, because I grew up wanting to be a journalist and thinking, oh, I'd love to work for the New York Times someday, or the Washington Post. Like, I want to be the next Woodward and Bernstein. But when it comes down to it, especially today, no, I don't want to be anything like those people. Those people aren't ethical, good journalists. They simply regurgitate campaign talking points, and from the WikiLeaks drops, we know that they actively would run pieces by the Hillary campaign in 2016. So here we go. It continues today. Disgusting.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com, where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.